So we all love that effortless power when we compress the golf ball, the club travels down, we hit ball and then turf with good accuracy on the shot and fantastic distance. But all too often, that's not what I see with most club golfers or recreational golfers. What we tend to see is hitting behind the golf ball and the ball going nowhere. We can see on TrackMan there, the club moving up 2.2 degrees. The low point of the golf swing was 2 inches behind and the ball only carried 80 yards. Or even worse, when they swing, it's a cold top and they just feel that it's almost like a secret as to how the best players in the world hit consistently good shots from the floor. Well, the good news is it's not a secret. In today's video, I'm going to show you a magic move that's going to help you get that low point ahead, hit ball and then turf every time, generate some more speed, and just hit lots of high quality iron shots, fairway woods, and hybrids from the ground. Okay, so I'm in the studio down at Heron's Reach and I've got my swing catalyst plate built into my mat. And what this allows me to see is how I move the pressure in the ground, left to right, but also how much I push into the ground and twist. And I'm going to use a little bit of this data just so you can understand what you are doing or what you're not doing, or most importantly, what we need to get you doing. So I'm going to hit the first shot, then I'm going to hit a good one. I'm going to show you what was different, and then I'm going to show you the move you need to make to get the good one every single time. So I'm going to set up to the ball, and I'm not going to consciously change my setup. I'm going to try and keep everything the same. So low point was just ahead, but it was a little bit thin. Even though the club was kind of moving down, we could see the carry way down at 142 yards, even though the club speed was good at 88. Now this is what we want you to do. So it wasn't quite out the middle of the golf club, but still 88 mile an hour club speed. Low point was suddenly 1.7 inches ahead. The club's traveled down 2 degrees. And even though that was a poor strike, it still went further than before. Right, so let's quickly pop onto the Swing Catalyst software and help you understand what I did well on the second swing and what I didn't do quite as well on that first swing. Okay, so on the left-hand side, we have got the first swing. On the right-hand side, we've got the second swing. So fairly similar at address, nearly 50-50 with weight distribution, left foot and right foot, slightly more on the left foot than the right foot on this, but fairly close together. So what we see is as the club works back, see on both swings that the little center of pressure, the white dot, moves into the right foot. But what we see on the right hand swing is the center of pressure already starts moving towards the target before it gets to the top of my backswing. Whereas on the left hand side, it hangs back into there. And then if we come halfway down, the timing's a little different. So I'm just going to change that. So as we get halfway down, you can see very much, even though the white dot started to move into the left foot, the pressure in the feet's very 50-50. Normally we're looking for at least 70% pressure in our lead foot. And we can see just kind of sitting back on that right leg. Whereas the swing on the right, we can see a much more aggressive movement into that left side. And my right foot's hardly touching the floor at that point. So even though slightly overdone, we can see much more pressure over that lead leg. That's why that low point's going to move ahead. And that's the difference. And that's the magic move we're going to work on right now. Right, so we could see there, it was all about how that pressure moved side to side. And what we see, particularly in my swing and with a lot of golfers, is that that pressure moves really nicely on the way back, predominantly because the mass of the club's moving in that direction. But what we tend to see with a lot of golfers that struggle with ball striking is the pressure stays on that right foot, and then as they're swinging down, the pressure's trying to get across onto the front foot, but it's too late, and that's why the bottom of the swing's behind the golf ball. Now, if the low point of the golf swing is a term you're not aware of, simple form of the golf swing is that club moves in a circle around your body. So the club moves up on the way back, then down, reaches its lowest point, and then continues back up. And if we're going to get ball and then turf contact, we need the low point to be ahead of the golf ball. And the way we do that is address, the pressure will be fairly 50-50, maybe a little bit one way or the other, but we need to make sure that as that pressure moves into that left side early in the downswing, that's going to move that low point ahead of the golf ball and give us the contact we want. So how are we going to get that feeling? So a really good feeling for a lot of golfers, and I use this with a lot of people I see face to face, is as you're getting to the top of the swing, I wouldn't even let the club fully get to the top. As you're getting to the top of your swing, I want you to feel like you're going to fall towards the target. So club's going back, you're moving towards the target, then you can just turn out the way. So have a couple of practice swings, just as I demonstrated. And straight away, I can see how I'm starting to touch the mat much further after the golf ball. And I'll be honest, even for me, that feels massively exaggerated compared to normal. So let's hit a shot and let's see with TrackMan, does that show the low point moving ahead of the golf ball? Felt very powerful strike. Low point 5.2 inches ahead. Club moving down 5.6 degrees. Club head speed at 88 mile an hour. Carry at 178. Now, unfortunately, I can't promise you the 88 mile an hour club head speed, but I can definitely guarantee if you feel that you're falling more towards the target, the great thing with that is it is moving your low point, but it's also applying some force into the club to get the club changing direction. We're not getting there and doing it with our arms, which down the line would create a very different movement, but also affects that pressure. We're going to get towards the top, fall. We can see the club shallow out, and then we can make that nice swing. And we saw on TrackMan there, a little baby draw for me. So again, only thought, feel like we fall towards the target before we reach the top of the backswing. And just perhaps I need to work on this a little bit more myself, because those last two have felt very exaggerated. Saw some great numbers on TrackMan there, but that definitely feels more than I would normally do. Now, obviously I've got 7 irons, so the ball's fairly central, but if that low point's 5.5 inches ahead there, as we move into the longer, or mid irons, long irons, hybrids and fairway woods, we still want the club moving down. We still want the same movement, but all we're going to do is we're going to move the ball forward, and if that low point stays approximately the same area, it won't be as far forward, therefore the club will be moving a little shallower into the ball. So it's very easy. That's the only reason really we're looking to change that ball position. So again, we're going to get to the top or towards the top, fall towards the target, and then I can get my body out of the way. So low point again felt great. Definitely a little bit out the toe, but we can see good speed, club traveling down. Obviously lost a little bit of distance on the shot. Let's go one final one. Really feeling I'm getting onto that left side ultra early, and then I can just swing through. And again, low point 5.6 inches ahead, club traveling down 5.8 degrees and 170 yards carry. So you can see, if you're going to start getting ball and then ground contact and creating some effortless power in the golf swing, we have to move that pressure earlier into that lead foot. That's getting that low point ahead. And the best feeling for most golfers is feel that we're falling towards the target, and that gets that club moving better in the downswing. So guys, hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, like it and share it. Comment below and I'll get back to as many people as I can. There's another video just there that YouTube thinks you're going to enjoy. Hopefully catch up with some of you guys down here soon. Stay in contact.